Hey everyone, hope you're well. Hope you're warmer than I am. I am freezing, so I am all wrapped up in my jumper tonight. Um, Hope you're having a good week. I have got some cool crafting to do tonight, or at least I think it's cool. I have an idea that I'm going to craft with you, which I'm looking forward to trying. Just before we get started on that, very quickly with some updates. So there are 3 more days left to take advantage of the starter kit offer. So that's £130 worth of goodies. You only pay 99, and you get the free Stampin' Positioner tool included in that. Really, really good offer. If you're interested, then please do get in touch. The offer finishes on Saturday. I would strongly recommend, if you do want to go for it, let's get it sorted on Friday. So if there are any problems, we've got access to demo support, we can get everything resolved. So if it is something you're interested in, don't wait until the last minute. Let's do it a day or two in advance. If you've got any questions, if you've got any issues, let me know. I will get everything sorted for you. It's always better to do these things sooner rather than later. For those who are coming to the bootcamp this Saturday, so excited. Everything is ready. I'm looking at all the boxes. All the designs are done, all the instructions are printed, everything is prepped. It's going to be really, really good. Registration has now closed, so there's no more spaces available. And yeah, we're really looking forward to crafting on Saturday with everyone who's coming to the bootcamp. And then the following weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we are going to be at the craft fair at the SEC in Glasgow. So if you are interested in seeing some of these Stampin' Up goodies in person, we're going to be doing demonstrations and make and takes. We will have the new positioner there for you to see and for you to play with. And so if you're interested, then pop on by and say hi. Right, enough of the talky stuff. Let's get down to business. So first of all, you'll be looking at these two cards going, these look really familiar. And that's because these are the two cards that we did last week. There was a third card, but I've actually already written it and given it away to someone. So these were the other two cards in the kit. I really like them, and I have been inspired to do a similar card based on these ones. So these are done in basic beige. So I'm going to start with my basic beige card blanks and layers, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, but it's basically based on these designs that we did from last week. So let's start off. I'm doing it from scratch because I want you to see exactly how I go about designing a card like this. Starting with my A4 cardstock. So I'm going to score at 10.5, and then I'm going to trim at 14.8 to create two card blanks. The basic beige, it's an interesting shade. It's a little bit darker than vanilla, but it's much paler than crumb cake or one of those other shades. I actually think it looks different from the shade that's in the kit. So I thought that was basic beige. Might actually be cream or very vanilla, because this is a slightly different shade. Either way, this is the one I'm going with. So I have done my two card blanks. Next up, I'm going to do my two layers to go on the top. Now, if you look at the cards that we did in the kits, the layers, and take the envelopes out of the way, the layers fit the entire card base. So that's what I'm going to start with. That's what I'm going to cut. I might trim it down, not going to lie. But I thought, let's do it for that to begin with. So I'm going to cut at 14.8. And again at 10.5. There we go. So now I have my card bases with layers that fit perfectly over the top. And I've got two of those. So the first card that I'm going to do is I'm going to try and duplicate Ooh, what's going on with my focus? Here we go. I'm going to try and duplicate, or at least be inspired by this card. And what I'm going to use is this punch here, which I think is called the Modern Oval Punch. And I'm going to punch, the plan is to punch 4 of these out from my card layer. Now, so it's going to look a bit like this. I want to get these positioned perfectly. So what I've got here, I've got a post-it note, and I'm going to punch out my shape from the post-it note. I want to get the whole shape, but I also want to make sure that the bit I do, I make sure that I do a sticky bit. Let's see, let's turn it around this way. There we go. There we go. So now I have a sticky shape. I might actually do 4 of these because I think that's going to be the best way to space these out. 1, 2, 3. I wonder if I can punch them all at the same time. The punch goes through cardstock, so it should, yeah, that worked. So now I have my 4 shapes. I can stick them down where I want them to be. I'm going to use my grid paper to help line this up. So I'm on the centimetres side. Let's position that. Yeah. So that's got my cardstock in the centre of my grid. So now I'm going to position these so they are in the centre of each of the squares. If you don't have grid paper, then you could just as easily do this with a ruler. Let's move that down a bit. Kind of position that right there. And then this one goes right there. Okay, so now I have my 4 ovals positioned. I might actually move them a little bit closer into the centre. So let's move that up a bit there. And then let's move this one down a bit as well. The joy of doing these in post-it notes is that you can play around with them until you have them where you want them to be. Let's line those ones up. And let's line that up as well. That goes up slightly, I think. There we go. Remember, I'm not going for millimetre precision here, but I think that's actually fairly well positioned. Hey Karen, glad you're here. Okay, so now that I've used my post-it note shapes to position where I want my punched shapes to be, I'm going to now put my punch, put the card into the punch, line up that post-it note shape and punch it out. There we go. So 1, 2, and this is a really good way of lining up your punched shape so that it's exactly where you want it to be. Use the post-it notes, position them until they're where you want them to be, and then punch away. There we go. Right, so now I have got my punched shape. There might be little bits of post-it left over the edges. That's fine. Just pull that off. There we go. So now I have my punched frame. which is going to go over my card. Now for this one, the one that we did last week, there were multicoloured backgrounds. So what I want to do here is have coloured backgrounds as well. Now, on one hand, I could just use cardstock, but I could also use white cardstock and colour it in. I think that's what I'm going to do. I am going to do flowers as well. I'm going to come to that in a minute. Let's start off with the white cardstock though. So, just trimming a piece of basic white into quarters, because it's a good size to work with, but then I'm going to trim this down a little bit further so that it goes to 14.3 by 10. It's basically taking half a centimetre off round each side. So then that would go on my basic beige, and then my punch layer will go on top. But next I want to have some flowers. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to do two different variants of this card, and I want to use these stamps and washi tapes, which I absolutely love. So I'm going to start with the one from the annual catalogue. So this is the Extraordinary Flora. And then I'm going to use the brand new one, the Greenery Lane, which you can see I haven't even opened yet. So let's start with the flower one. I'm going to get some basic white. And I'm going to take, so this is your extra thick, fabulously thick washi tape. Let's pull this, gently pull this, and I'm going to stick it onto my basic white. Good thing about washi tape is that you can pick it up and reposition it as much as you need to. I'm going to take it all the way to the end there. Do that without wrinkles. And then trim it off. So now I've got my washi tape stuck to my basic white cardstock. Let's just do the second one as well, because this washi tape comes in two different colourways. So you've got the pinks and the reds, and then you've got the gorgeous blues and purples. So let's just do both of these at the same time, because then I can mix and match and use whichever colours seem right. Let's trim this off. Out of the folks watching, who's got this washi tape already? Have you used it? Have you not been brave enough? Did you look at it and go, nah, I'm not too sure? Or did you look at it and go, I have to have it, and now it's been sitting in your craft room and you've never used it? If you are one of these people who have never used it, then I really would encourage you, go and fish it out, go and have a play. You liked it, you bought it, so let's play with it. Now, when I stuck that down, I've got some wrinkles, but it's washi tape, so just peel it back up again. It is yours. You can make it do what you need it to do. Just with your fingers, stick it down so that there are no wrinkles. There we go. And even if there is one last wrinkle, push it all the way down. Nobody will know. See? Perfect. Perfect. Right, now I'm going to use the Extraordinary Flora die that matches this washi. So let's line that up. You can see it lines up perfectly. I'm going to do both of them. So let's get my cut and emboss machine over here. So let's start off with the oranges and the pinks first. Get that lined up. If you want to be precise about it, then absolutely you can use washi tape to hold it in place. They are meant to have like a little white rim around it. Yeah, that works. Crank that through. You do like it, but you haven't bought it yet. It is really, really pretty. And one pass through, all of that, look, they'll just pop out. So easy to use. I'm going to do both colourways just while I've got the machine up. So that was the oranges and the pinks. Now let's do the blues and the purples. Beautiful colours. Press it through. I've seen different variations done on this where you do it on acetate rather than white card. I've seen it where it's been done where you actually stamp on the washi tape. Might do that on another one. Let's start with what we've got just now. See where we go. Let's pop that over there. So I now have these beautiful flowers. Actually, you know how I said I would do one in one colourway and the other one in the other colourway? I actually think putting both colourways on one card might be the answer here. So those are my purpley ones, and those are my pinky ones. Let's get our card back. So before I stick anything down, I'm going to just position where I want things to be. So this is our inspo, our inspiration card that we did last week. Let's just pop that on one side, and then let's see what this card's going to look like. So if I'm going to stick this one down because I know that it's going to be a white background. So whether I then colour the background or if I just go with the colours and the flowers, the more that I look at the flowers, the more I think it maybe doesn't need any coloured background. Because these ones got coloured backgrounds and white flowers. So I actually think white background with coloured flowers might be just as pretty. So, right, just going to layer that on place. I haven't stuck it down. And let's see if we kind of put our flowers together. I know already that I want them to be kind of bursting out over the edges. Let's kind of tuck this under. And then this one, having it with more greenery, and then maybe perhaps these little ones as well. And then for the other side, use these gorgeous purple ones. I just love these. A little green spread underneath. And more of the purple little ones ones there. What do we think? Coloured flowers, white backgrounds? I think that's the way forward. So I'm going to push all of that stuff up the top. Let's move them to one side and let's actually stick these things down. So let's start off with some foam pads for my frame. Those are the mini ones, these are the big ones. You like that, Karen? I wasn't sure how this would come together, but it actually is working the way I'd hoped. I love it when a plan comes together. I know I use the kits in my lives and sometimes they can seem a bit simple. And the one we did last week was an easier card, good for beginners or doing with kids. But we can be inspired by some of these kits to create our own things. And I think this is a card which would I have been inspired to make if I hadn't seen the original one? I don't know. Let's put foam pads on the back of these. I'm going to use my take a pick tool because I'm going to need quite a lot of these mini foam pads. Why am I using mini ones? Where's my larger ones? I'll need the mini foam pads for the tiny flowers, but for the larger ones, use the larger foam pads. Easier to stick. Right, so let's put that there and that there. Let's tuck that underneath. And a couple of minis on the back of these little flowers. I have been trying to prep as much as I possibly can because there's so much happening at the moment. We've obviously got the boot camp this Saturday, which is really exciting, but then the following week, as I said at the start, following weekend we've got the SEC, which is going to be really exciting, really looking forward to that. And then the week after that I am going to Cologne in Germany for Stampin' Up on Stage event, which is going to be so much fun. There's going to be 6 of the team joining us, which is just going to be so much fun. Usually there's anything between 800 and 1200 demonstrators there. We're going to get to see the new catalogue, which we're all excited about. The new in colours. Oh, that's a good point. The current in colours, they're going to be retiring soon. So if you are hoping to keep those ones or stock up on those colours before they retire, make sure you grab them before they're gone. You like the technique lining up the apertures. Thank you, Karen. It is a really useful thing that I found to make sure that you get the punch shapes exactly where you want them to be. So yes, on stage in Cologne is going to be really exciting. I cannot wait. We always have so much fun. We've got some extracurricular activities planned. My fabulous teeny Jen has got us booked in for various restaurants, and I believe that there's a chocolate museum. All things good. We're going to have an absolute blast. And I'm going to get to craft with some of my favourite people and see some of the brand new stuff before anyone else. So if you've ever been tempted by the Stampin' Up proposal, this is just another one of the perks. I have been all over the world with Stampin' Up and Stampin' Up events, and always had so much fun. The event that I'm going to in Cologne is for all demonstrators, so you don't have to be a specific title to attend. Some of the ones that I've been to in the past, you had to be a certain title, but this one is for everyone, and we have such a blast. So for my team members, yes, I will share information with you when I'm there. What I'm allowed to share, of course. Some stuff they do want us to keep confidential and keeps as secrets. As part of the perks of going to on stage is that you get to see and hear stuff early. But I will share with you what I'm allowed to. Right. There we go. So that's our inspiration card. And then this is the one. Hey Ali, sound quality is atrocious. Oh dear. Okay, catch you later. Can anybody else comment on sound? Is it everyone or is it just Ali that's experiencing it? That is worrying. I do want there to be good sound. While somebody's hopefully telling me about the sound, I'm going to do a message. So our inspiration card had a sentiment in the centre. I'm going to use the more messages stamp. So this, I haven't actually used this stamp yet. That's terrible. Let's rectify that. So the sound is bad. Okay. Alright. I wonder if I can fix that. Okay. Let's try and adjust that. Is that a bit better? Change one of the settings. That might improve things. Although you might also need to turn the volume up. I'm so sorry, Ali. Thank you for telling me. There was an update on the program that I use to do these videos, and maybe that has affected some of my sound settings. And watching the comments, hopefully somebody will tell me if that has got better or worse, or if it's just the same. Very quiet but still Dalek-y. Okay. I mean, I can try not talking. I'm sure my husband would be very pleased with that approach. But I do want to share all this stuff with you. Right. Let me do the sentiment. So I'm going to use this stamp here. And my positioning tool. Place. And hold it with, can I put magnets? There and there. for this card, I think I'm going to do an early espresso sentiment, because I think that would go nicely with the beige. So let's ink this up. Press this down. See if that has worked. It's worked perfectly. I was ready to do more over the top if there was a bit that I hadn't done, but all seems fine. Let's line the die up. So use the more messages die that goes with this particular stamp. There we go. So this one cuts out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Is it 19? Seems weird it would be 19 and not 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 sentiments. So again, this might be one of the ones that you would want to mold in with washi tape. In retrospect, I should have used a larger piece of basic white. So some of them are going to be slightly cut off, but that's okay. Lesson learned for next time. Let's roll this through. Oh, that does cut very easily. Goodness. There we go. Okay, the last one's there. So now I have a whole pile of sentiments, and I can use one for this card. What do we think? Always here for you. You're simply incredible. That could be a nice one. You're the absolute best. You can do anything. All of these would be quite pretty. What do we think? Time to celebrate. That could be a good one. Yeah. Let's do the time to celebrate. So, more foam pads. There we go. So that's the card from last week from the kit, and then this is my version this week. So that's done using the modern oval punch and using the extraordinary florals washi tape and die coordinating. What do you think? Is this a card you like? Do you prefer the one from the kit, or what do you think of my imitation example? I'm quite pleased with it. I think it's come out quite nice. I did have another design in my head though, so I'm going to carry on and do the second one. So again, using my basic beige card blank and the front, I'm going to use my the same pieces that I cut out before. And I want, go to, this is going to look odd to begin with, but stick with me, okay? So I'm going to put my card in the center of my grid paper. I'm going to put one of my punched shapes completely in the center. Then I'm going to put the other two on either side, like so. I'm going to line that up. Now, some of you are going, Emma, how are you going to punch out those three shapes? And the short answer is, I'm not. The reason that I put all three of them on is because I wanted them spaced out evenly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to poke out, I'm going to punch out the left-hand side one, and I'm going to punch out the right-hand side one. And then the center one, I'm not going to punch out, but I am going to layer up. So one of the pieces that I've punched out, I'm just going to put in the center with some foam pads to create a little bit of a background. Quick hello to everybody who's watching on YouTube as well as Facebook. Hello to everybody who's watching on catch-up rather than live. And apologies to everyone who's watching going, is the sound a bit odd? She's sounding a bit like a Dalek. Apparently I am, but I'm hopefully going to get that sorted for next week. Right, let's do my basic white on the back like I did before. Basic white. And this one we're going to use the Greenery Lane washi, which is the new one out of the new spring summer. So let's start with my quarter piece for the washi, and then do the same as before for my background. So this is 14.3 by 10. And let's just stick this down just now. Use my foam pads. On the back. Trying not to talk so much, so it doesn't sound as if I'm going to exterminate you. Those who know me will know I find it very hard not to talk so much. Right, there we go. Something wrong with my mic. Yes, I have been told this. I'm going to try another setting. See if that helps a little. Let's see if, right, I've switched to a completely different mic now. So let's see if that makes a difference. Sorry, Connie. Tell me if that one's any better. I'm now using a different microphone. I'm still not sure. Let's crack on in hopeful optimism. And so I'm using now, this is the Greenery Lane washi tape. First time out the box. Still bad. Sorry everyone, I think I'll just need to power on through for tonight and then I'll make sure it's fixed for next week. Apologies for the poor sound. Right, so this washi, first time I've used this one, let's check the dies. Sounds a bit better now? Okay, thank you Connie, thank you for letting me know. Oh, that's really cool. Connie, I think you're on Twitch. You might be my first Twitch follower or commentator. That's so exciting. I just noticed on the chat, the stream chat, it tells me little logos of where people are commenting from. So, hello. Thank you for telling me that the microphone wasn't working. And I'm glad it's a little bit better now. Right. Let's see how this works. Let's just chop it off here. I have tried to get this to work on TikTok as well, but it doesn't appear to like that just yet. So I'm hopeful that one day I will be able to make it work there too. That day is not today. Right, so that one is for there. This one goes there. You'll notice this particular set has got multiple dies, so you can cut out separate pieces rather than the previous one that was just one big die. I'm not sure if I prefer this. Having the separate dies does mean you have to cut it multiple times. Let's give this a shot. Looking at the washi tape, I think you have the same shapes but in different colours. So this one here looks to be the same as that one there, but I only have one of the dies, I think. Yeah. Right, we're going to just do this in stages then. Let's cut this out. We might mix and match this up with the ones that I've already cut out, the ones from the florals. I was going to do this just greenery. Let's layer it out, see what it looks like, and then we can decide if we want to do just greenery or if we're going to do greenery and florals. Line this up. Line that one up as well. And that one too. Some of these are going off the edges, but I have a solution for that. At least not one knot. We're going to use all of these. So let's crank this round. Let's use that one at the top there. There. This one lines up here, and this one over here. We've already cut out. What do we think so far, the greenery washi compared to the floral washi? I think they're both nice, but I think I probably prefer the florals. And I don't know if that's because they're pinks and purples, and you know I'm a total pinks and purples girl. The greenery is pretty. It is pretty. Let's go with this for just now. The materials are really great. Oh, you're using a translator. Thank you, Connie. I'm so glad you were here. Thank you very much. Wow. Twitch and international. I'm feeling really excited tonight. Right, so see this one here, where it's cut the top off? I'm going to tuck that underneath the rim. So it doesn't matter that I'm missing the top. And I'm going to put this one underneath there, and then I'm going to do this one. What colour? I want one of those greener, darker greener ones. Let's do this one, tuck underneath there with a bit, see, that greenery, that one, I think, yeah, we'll tuck these ones underneath. Tuck that there, and that there. And then have the sentiment in the centre with a, actually if we just put that one, let's have a different sentiment. Like that. What do we think? Does it need the flowers as well? No, let's stick to the greenery. I want to do one that's just greenery. Let's stick these ones down though. I might do just glue on the large ones and then foam pads on the minis. And let's just tuck that underneath there like that. This one is also getting tucked under. And then those ones need foam pads. So let's use that there. And that there. One underneath there, and now let's do foam pads on these ones. I really am kind of winging this tonight, ladies and gents, and everybody else who's watching. Let's see. There, like that, and then this one's going flat as well. In the centre, just slightly off the top of that centre bit, and then foam pads on the sentiment. There we go. Right. Wing It Wednesday. Absolutely. What do we think of the landscape version? I thought for a second I had glued it on upside down. I quite like that. So those are our two cards that we've done today. One just with Greenery Lane and one with Extraordinary Floral. The inspiration was the card that we did from the kit last week, using the ovals with the flowers. Which ones do you like best? So you are allowed to like the one from the kit best. if that's your preference. When it comes to the washi tape ones, I do like them both. I'm going to use them both. I like the colour in the Extraordinary Florals. This one actually, maybe if I'd paired it more, so put some of the florals with this one, maybe that would have been the answer. Kind of mixed it up a bit. Included some of these ones in there as well. What do we think? Put that there, that there. Pop colour. Greenery Lane. You're watching with sound off and subtitles. Very clever, Linda. That is a good move. Kind of like the Greenery Lane ones. Brilliant. Let's